Hi guys, Mandy the Tidy Sticky Mama here, and today we are wrapping up the first week in the KonMari 8-week challenge and moving on to week 2. Week 1 was all prep. Set your priorities straight and get a clear vision of where you want these 8 weeks to take you. Then you're going to take before photos of your space so you can see how far you've come. Easy peasy. For my days 2 through 4, I took out my trusty bullet journal and wrote down my visions and goals in there. I found day 4, which is when you need to synthesize your ideals into one vision. I found that day to be the most difficult. Bringing my desires for my home and my desires for myself into one clarified vision was kind of tricky. But it's important to recognize that you and your home are reflective. Think about it. How often do we get into a funk and then our home follows suit? Our internal mess becomes external mess, and our external chaos becomes internal chaos. So that's why it's important when you're doing this that it's not just about the stuff. It's about you too, because the KonMari method isn't just about your things, it's about joy. It is an emotional process and a complete change in mindset, and that is why it works. There's a couple excerpts in particular that I would like to share with you that I feel very accurately summarize my goals without getting into too many specifics. The first of which, I want a joyful space where my family can grow and enjoy time together or on our own, rather than constantly taking care of things. The other is actually a really big one for me. It's no fear of the future. Dump the excess, including the baggage of past misfortunes. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you've heard me say that I have done the KonMari method before. And you may think, looking at those videos and the before photos I'm going to show you later in this video, that wow, she still has a lot of stuff for having done KonMari already. And that's two things. One, KonMari is not minimalism. You're allowed to keep as much stuff as you joyfully wish at the end of it. And two, we had some setbacks since I did the method that caused me to revert to a fear of the future state. I was holding on to things that I didn't need and accepting things from people that I didn't need or want because I felt like I had to. I kept thinking, what if I do need it and I can't go get what I need or go get something that actually suits me because we don't have the means? That's not joy, that's fear. And I need to let go of that because I don't want the fear, I want the joy. Okay, so when I was making my vision board, I decided to make mine on Pinterest because it's a lot easier than trying to get out all the craft supplies and actually make something that then I have to figure out where to put. I went over to Pinterest and made myself this board here, specific to the 8-week tidying challenge. And the very first pin that I put on it was the challenge itself. I'll just scroll down real quickly to see that. But anyway, so there's that. And this is the make a vision board part for day 5. And I already kind of had some things pinned on my personal account, and so I just went over there and swiped them, some of the pins. But in my ideal home and in my clarified goals, I stated I wanted something colorful and easygoing and something that is full of plants and has some art on the walls and is just very bright. So you can see my pins largely reflect that. And there's a general feel to it. It's pretty obvious. I tend to prefer cool colors, fun bright things like this stained glass door over here, and swooshy curtains, a little bit of a romantic at heart. And you see there's lots of green and lots of plants, not just actual plants, but kind of a plant motif going on in a lot of the decor. Very vibrant, very alive, I think is a great way to describe that. And I really like Pinterest for this fact that it's such a visual format, because it's really easy for me to see things and I can add to it really easily. Because if you've kind of got a few things that you really like but you can't think of good search terms to find what you're looking for, once you've got a few things curated, you can just pop over here and hit this more ideas button, and then you'll see some more stuff that Pinterest thinks is related. And I think for me it's doing a pretty good job. I'm not big on like the funky lamps like that, but these greens and this color palette over here, totally right up my alley. So I am going to save that. Ooh, I do love that porch swing, but I know practically there's no way that that's happening. And that color is just not really me, so we'll skip that. Ooh, I do love those resin tables though. So we'll save those. And I'm not totally ignoring things that are impractical, because it's an idea, an aspiration. It doesn't have to be something where I'm actually going to buy that thing and put it in my house. Like those tables I just saved, I'm not going to get those while my kids are little. They'll probably get something sticky and gross on it and I'll be mad, or they'll fall down and hurt their poor little selves on it, but I added them anyway. Oh, that's nice. That room was a bit darker than I'm really going for though. Like I said, I want bright. Like, this one is kind of more my style. I do like that couch, so we'll save that one too. But you see, it's a lot easier to do this than having to go through a million magazines or print off a bunch of stuff, because not many people actually have magazines in their house anymore. So I do. I love magazines, but probably not enough to pull this project off. But yeah, and you can just see it. Ooh, that is awesome. Gotta have that one. I can find art on here, and if I do find something where I want that exact thing, Pinterest does make it pretty easy to buy it if it is something that's available out there to do so. So, like I pinned a rug over here. Where'd you go? Oh, right there. I've got this rug that I pinned, and I can go right to it. If I had that kind of money to drop on a rug, I could just plop that thing right in the bag and have it at my home. But I don't. So it's just gonna stay a dream on the board for now. But you can see I've got some plants individually and some plants that I liked their setup. So it's flexible in what you want to do with your vision board. What makes sense to you when you look at it, it feels right. I thought about kind of sub-categorizing it, like putting the decor options separate from sort of the plants themselves, but it's a whole vision. So for me, I'm going to leave it as is so I can see it all together and get the overall impression of my vision visually. Yeah, if you're short on time or short on craft supplies, I definitely recommend you do this. I like Pinterest in general because I'm a very visual person when it comes to my crafting projects and my organizing stuff, and this is great for that. And of course, this shows up when my house is absolutely wrecked from ignoring it during potty training. Here's a few of my before shots anyway. These are some of the real problem areas that I've had in my house for a while now, and I'm really hoping to make them not such a problem during this 8-week challenge. Week 2 really starts the method, and like your standard KonMari festival, begins with our clothes. Which is kind of brilliant, really, because when you start with the clothes, it may not be the bulk of the clutter in your house, but it's a category that makes an immediate impact. You're choosing clothes every single day, so you're seeing every single day the fruits of your labors, and it's a great motivation to keep going. Plus, when your entire wardrobe sparks joy, getting dressed is kind of fun. And when you have that joy first thing in your day, it trickles down into the whole rest of it, and you feel better. Try to do laundry so that you have as much of your clothing available as you can from the get-go. She stays true to the method by having you round up all of your clothes and putting them in one big pile. That includes things that you have stored away for a different season or size, and any coats you may have hanging around the house in various places. but just your clothes. Don't touch anybody else's stuff. Not your significant other, not your children, nobody's, just yours. But you're not actually sorting yet. Day 2 is you taking 3 items that you know for sure spark joy and physically holding on to them so that you can recognize the feeling of touching an item that sparks joy. Because what you're going to be doing when you're sorting is you're going to pick up and hold every single item you own. So when you're doing that, you need to know what it feels like to hold something that sparks joy and what it feels like to hold something that doesn't. Because there are times when an item may elicit positive feelings, but they're not necessarily joy. For example, a sweater that has a lot of fond memories attached to it. But maybe you don't actually like the sweater itself. If the sweater itself does not spark joy, don't keep it. Okay, you can keep those memories without keeping the sweater. Personally, I'm probably going to end up combining the first 3 days because the first 2 steps aren't going to take me very long and I can't be leaving a big pile of clothes laying around all week. About the best I can do is probably having to put them in a couple of laundry baskets and shove them into my closets because there's nowhere in my house, especially with the kids, that I can just make a mountain of clothes and let it sit there. Okay? The 3rd day, you're actually starting to sort. We're going to begin with our core clothes. So anything that's not an accessory, intimates, or something you wear to the gym. Those are going to be taken care of in the next couple of days, so push those to the side for now. If you still have a really large pile of stuff to deal with, it may be less overwhelming to break it down further into categories. So do tops, dresses, bottoms, pajamas, and jackets and outerwear. That way you're dealing with very similar things all at once and it's not quite as overwhelming to deal with. Normally, if you were doing the full KonMari festival, I would suggest that you take a separate day for each of those subcategories so it's not as much to deal with all at once. But this is a challenge, so it means it's going to be a little bit of hard work, so you need to just buckle down and get it done. You're going to wind up making 2 piles, one for the stuff you want to keep and one for the stuff that you're getting rid of. I like to sort my discard pile further into sell, donate, and textile recycling. But if that's too overwhelming and you don't want to deal with all the stuff that goes with selling clothes, just sort it into donations and recycling. A lot of donation centers will also have the ability for you to drop off textile recycling as well, as long as you label it properly. But call yours and ask first because not all of them do. And you don't want to just drop off a bunch of crap that they're going to have to then just throw away, right? If they don't, H&M will take textiles for recycling and usually give you a coupon in exchange for it too. I think it's like 10 or 15%, but call yours and make sure that they still do that, of course. Don't do anything with your keepers yet, okay? We're not putting anything away until we've sorted all the clothes. I'm going to throw mine into a laundry basket and shove it in the closet until we're done. It works. It's not the tidiest solution, but it's only temporary, right? Days 4 and 5 will move a lot faster for most people, unless you're really into funky socks or a ton of accessories. But even if you are, having gone through the bulk of your clothes, your joy meter is more finely tuned, so you'll be able to make decisions much faster. This is a place you're likely to run into the issue of practicality versus joy. Say, for example, you go through all of your bras and not a single one sparks. Well, if you're not going to go braless, you have a couple options. One is to get rid of them all and then go out and find a couple of joy-sparking replacements right away. But that can be both time-consuming and expensive. The other option is to pick a few that you can live with while you look for joy-sparking replacements. While you're doing that, acknowledge the gratitude that you have for what those pieces do for you. Thanks for supporting me, so to speak. Day 6, day 13 of the overall challenge, we're putting things away finally. Start by saying thank you to your discards. And I know this sounds weird to people and some people are just like, what? But really do it. It's good to show appreciation for the things we've owned, even if we haven't necessarily gotten the best use out of them. And it helps ease the guilt a little bit about getting rid of things that we spent good money on. Then take all of that stuff and put it in your car. That's not a Marie thing, that's a me thing. You don't want it to just sit around your house and keep taking up space once you've decided to get rid of it. And by putting it in your car, you've removed an excuse for making sure that it actually gets where it's going. Your keepers can get put back in your closet and your dresser. And Marie's standard is to fold as much as you possibly can, and to do so in a way that it'll stand up vertically in the drawers. This is to maximize your storage potential, and so that you can see everything at a glance when it's in the drawer, rather than a stack of things on top of each other, because that's no good, right? You never really get to those shirts on the bottom. If that's something you struggle with, I've made a video on doing that I will link in the iCards and in the description down below so that you can find it when you're ready. Put things away by category so that you can find what you need when you need it and put it away easily when you're done with it. The last day this week is for organizing your closet, which is going to be way easier now than it would have been last week because there's so much less in it, right? Marie recommends that the things hanging in your closet ascend to the right, meaning you want the heavier, darker, longer things over on the left side and the lighter, brighter, shorter things over on the right side. Now, this is an art and not a science, so trust your gut. If you're looking at my closet, I personally prefer to have mine categorized even further, but it rises within those categories. So again, art, not science. Trust your gut and you'll find what works for you. And just like that, you've completed the very first category in the KonMari method. Don't you feel lighter already? Is going to make such a difference in your life. Like, it really is life-changing. And I'm so excited, especially for those of you doing this for the very first time. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will catch up with you at the end of the week. I gotta go make a giant pile of clothes. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for me so you can stay with me on my 8-week challenge. And let me know in the comments down below how week 1 went for you and what you're most looking forward to for week 2. Bye guys. See you next time. Hit that subscribe button for me so you can... or blah, blah, blah.